So we're going to start with, for listings today, because it's my favorite, prospecting, and then we're going to go around the solar system here so that you understand each one that we've built over time to have success with. But two that I'm going to start with prospecting. One of them, which I talk about all the time, is my favorite, which is the just sold call. Now, you can also apply this to door knocking, which we'll talk about here in a second, but my favorite listing lead source that I've had tons of success with in my career is the just sold call or the just sold door knock. And all this is making sure that first you have a just sold script. You got to start with a script so you know exactly what to say. We'll put our script book, or the way for you to download our script book, in the chat box. But with the just sold conversation, the mindset of this is basically you or your organization just sold a home. Doesn't have to be you. Could be your company. Could be if you're with XYZ company, whatever it is. You just sold a property, or a property just sold in the neighborhood. And I'll preface this, you don't even have to have one that's from your company. If a property just sold from another competitor, you can use that property to start this conversation. All we're trying to do is let people know that a property just sold and that you work with a lot of buyers in the area. And because that one just sold, there's still buyers that are looking in this neighborhood, which is a true fact, that are interested in this area. So you're just calling the sellers to go, hey, do you have any interest in selling? Or do you happen to know of anyone in the neighborhood that might be interested in selling? Now, that's about as base level of an explanation as I can get. Where just sold calls become highly profitable is you have to have what we call a check down process. In the just sold game, when you're doing your check downs, the first thing is you have to talk to a lot of people at a very high rate and then build relationships and rapport very quickly so you can fill your database for listings not only now, but in the future. Where people get sometimes frustrated with just solds is you think you make 100 just sold calls, you're going to set a listing appointment. That's not the case. It might happen. It definitely does happen. But what you're really making just sold calls to do is to find out in a specific neighborhood or area the status of every single person on not if they're going to sell, when they're going to sell. Make sure you write that down. Just solds are not about if they're going to sell. It's about when they're going to sell. You're going to be having that. You're going to have this whole database built on knowing this by understanding your scripts and dialogues to have this conversation with them. So I call up and I go, and remember, this is a cold person in the beginning. So, hey, Sally, this is Brendan with XYZ Real Estate. Hey, we just sold, or I just sold, or a home just sold at 123 Elm Street. It sold for $550,000. Only took it 6 days to sell. It actually sold $3,000 over an initial list price. Sally, I was giving you a ring because we have a lot of buyers that are looking in this area right now, still having multiple offer situations. So I was calling all the neighbors to see if you or anyone you know might be interested in selling. Sally's going to say, yes, I do know someone. That's rare. Majority of the time, Sally's going to say, I'm sorry, I don't know of anyone. Oh, okay, no worries, Sally. Thank you so much for taking the time to think about it. Do you happen to know, I know you're not interested, but do you know of anyone maybe at all from the school, from church, from anywhere, any hints of, have you seen anybody on the street maybe getting dumpsters out and starting to prepare their house? Anything at all? I just really, really want to find my buyers a new house, right? Or I want to help these buyers find a new home, or whatever it might be. They're either going to say, no one comes to mind. Great. Well, since I've got you on the phone, Sally, and I always do have a lot of buyers for this area, if you were to move, where would you go next? And when would that be? Where would you go next? And when would that be? Oh, well, I don't know. I guess I haven't given it much thought. I mean, after little Johnny graduates high school, we were always thinking about downsizing and moving to the city. Oh, that's exciting. Have you ever lived in the city? Build rapport, blah, 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 whatever it is, right? You're having this conversation with them. That's your first check down. They don't know anybody, or they're not right interested right now. When would it be the perfect situation, right? Then the second check down, so they go, great, well, never, I'm going to die in this house. I'm going to move next month, next year. Great, you're taking notes. Boom, 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 either typing them in or handwriting them down for after your session to put into your CRM. Then your second check down is going to be, well, while I have you on the phone too, Sally, now that I know you guys are going to move after Johnny graduates in about a year or so, do you happen to own any rental or investment properties? Okay. Second check down, rentals or investments. If they say yes, then fantastic. Oh my gosh, where are those properties? And have you had an updated analysis on them? Do you currently have them rented? You're going to become their resource to find out what their current situation is as a what we call a a rent by owner, but basically a tenant or a landlord. If they don't have any investment properties, oh my gosh. Well, one of the things I do, Sally, is I help people build wealth through investing in real estate. I'm actually hosting an investor seminar via Zoom next week at 6 p.m. I'd love for you to attend that to learn how easy it is to get involved in buying your first investment property. What's the best email address for me to send you that invitation? If you don't want to do an investor seminar, first of all, not a good idea because they're super powerful. But if you don't, you can go, great. Well, I'd love to meet with you to talk to you about how you can buy your first investment property. Do you have some time this week, or nights or weekends better for you? And just go meet them. Talk to them about investing in real estate. That's your second check down, wealth building in real estate. Remember your product. You sell houses, you sell investments. So make sure that we're very, very clear on that. And then your third check down, this is your final check down, which I guess you could have more. It's the final one I use. So if they say no to both or you don't get anywhere with anything, I go, Sally, well, one of the things I do, all the neighbors, I put out a monthly market report that tells you every stat about the neighborhood, what's sold, what's active, what's listing. All the neighbors love it. I don't see you currently on my list. Would you like to receive that update via email or regular mail? Everything you just heard me do, I do in a tie down, which is called an alternate close. It's not asking them if they want to receive it. It's in what format do they want to receive it, so that it's it's not a yes or no. That's the nuance of that entire script. Every single piece of it has to be nuanced. That leads in, do you want to do this way, or do you want to do it this way? One way or another, you're doing something with me. That's the whole point of this. So that's a big call. That is a big, big call to really think about. And so I want to pause for just a second on that as we take a dive into that. Let's talk about the next piece, right? For everyone, how do you decide where to call? Where do you get the phone numbers? And how do you build this into your daily regiment for those that want to prospect, right? You have to have some technology to help you out with this. So either what we use is a Mojo line triple dialer that has the neighborhood search function. So you can search these neighborhoods, triple line dial an area, which means while you're calling, if you ever haven't used a triple line dialer, 3 phone lines are calling at once. And when someone else picks up the phone and you're talking to them, it's dialing in the background with a pre-recorded message with you already. So if somebody answers the phone, it acts like you can't connect with them. They goes, hello, hey, are you there? Can you hear me? Hangs up on them, puts them in queue. So when you finish your next call, it picks up the next person and they have no idea what happened. That's the underbelly of this business when you're highly technically leveraged. So you're never not on the phone. So it's just connection. So you can talk to people at such a fast rate. Imagine the database that you can build. That's what this is about. It's not if they're going to sell, it's when they're going to sell. And your ability to deliver this conversation at a high level is going to greatly expedite your real estate career at a fast level. What's going to be painful about doing this is it's extremely boring. And I'm talking mind-numbingly boring. So other things you're going to need. A Nerf hoop in your office because you're going to get bored and you're going to have something to distract you. If you like golfing, you're going to want to putt while you're doing this into a little cup. You're going to need things to free your mind from the monotony of how boring and painful this is. But it's super lucrative. It's extremely lucrative when you're using all of the pieces. Where you will fail in this listing source is if you just call and go, hey, we just sold the property at 123 Elm Street and I was curious, do you have any interest in selling? They're going to go, no, we're good. Okay, well, if you know of anyone, give me a call. That's what I see people make the call and they go, this doesn't work. Was that very different than the script I just went through with you? Please nod yes. Yeah, it's a very different script. So your ability to master the script and the conversation and the energy you bring to that conversation is going to change the outcome dramatically. Then you have to put it into a database and follow up with people, right? It's not a one hit, one shot, one kill. This is I just met someone randomly through the phone. I'm trying to build a relationship with them because at some point they're going to sell this home. It's rare that someone's going to keep this forever and die in this house. Some point they're going to have a life-changing event and I'm going to be there to be able to help them. Just solds. Any
Brendan,
questions on just solds? Yeah, please.
Yeah, perfect. So a couple of questions that came through in the chat box. If I use a triple line dialer, is that the company that also provides the phone numbers, or do I need to latch on additional tech to get those phone numbers as well?
Mojo provides the phone numbers. It's additional, so you pay for the dialer and then you pay for what's called neighborhood search function. If you're going to do this, I highly recommend try to leverage the expense. If you're not on a real estate team that provides it or your office doesn't provide it, join up with 2 or 3 people. Triple line dialer is like $150 a month. Everyone throw down $50. I guarantee you, the other 2 people, they're never going to use it. They're going to buy it, and they're not going to use it. So you get a free dialer because they know they should be doing it. They're not going to do it. And so you just reduced your costs by 1/3. Then there's several other companies. Mojo, we like the Red X as well. The Red X is a great source for this. And then the third one is Vulcan 7, which just sounds terrifying, but it's like Vulcan 7, right? I know the best prospectors across the country. Each one of them would tell you why they prefer one or the other. We just happen to really like Mojo. The dialer seems to be the most intuitive.
Awesome. And we've got 2 more questions on this. So this question is, this sounds great if I have a buyer for that neighborhood. What if I don't actually have a buyer?
You always have a buyer, okay? You're a buyer because you're a cash buyer. And if you ever find a house, I'm your buyer. I will buy any house for cash for 70 cents on the dollar. So that's a great question, Anna. And people are going, huh? What? I'm in Arkansas. I will buy any house in Arkansas for 70 cents on the dollar. Remember, you always have a buyer for a neighborhood. You're not calling and talking about, would you buy any house if it was a great deal? If not, I'll buy it. The mindset is you always have a buyer because you're in real estate. Someone in your office, your family, your Uncle Joey, your cousin Tony, they will buy any property on earth if it was the right deal. You're not calling and telling people, I have a buyer, but they want to buy your house for 70 cents on the dollar, but you always have a buyer. Whoever asked that, high five. That's a great question. You got to believe this, right? If you're going to make this call, you got to believe in it. We sell instant cash offers all the time, everything when we're doing this. Because you really will. There's a seller out there right now that's a hoarder that's waiting for you to call them that will sell their house to you for 70 cents on the dollar, maybe even 65 cents on the dollar. If you don't have the money for it, call me, I'll buy it. You'll still get full commission. Great question.
The last one on it is, what if they actually say yes? Can you run through the script of going, actually, Brendan, I'm so glad you called. We were actually just talking about it. We don't have a real estate agent. If you have a buyer, I'd love to have a conversation. What happens next if it's an actual positive conversation?
Absolutely. Well, I'm so glad that we connected. So the first step is for me to come over and take a look at the property. So I want to do a full analysis. And again, just so you understand, even with me representing a buyer, I can represent you as what we call a transaction broker. And my goal is to make sure that you net the most money possible. And to be honest with you right now, I haven't seen the house, so I'm not even sure if it'll be a good fit for my buyer. So why don't I do this? Let's go ahead and set a meeting. I can stop by today at 4 or maybe tomorrow at 1, which one works better for you. Then I set the appointment, then I come over and I do the analysis. Now, if you're going to go cash buyer and you're going to go, great, well, my buyer is a cash buyer. After looking at the house, market value for the property is $500,000. They'd only be in a position to offer you $450,000. So we can go that route if you'd like to sell it at $450,000, or if you'd like to maximize the value of the home and use what we call our maximum net program. I can also sell it in our traditional format. It just wouldn't be the right fit for this buyer. And then you go to your traditional real estate pitch. Right? We sell a program. That's a whole nother class, but right, you go into what you do to get them the maximum amount of money. If they go, yeah, I'm open to selling it for $450 or 70 cents on the dollar. I know that $450 is not 70 cents on the dollar, but you get my math, right? Call me if you don't have a buyer, pitch me the deal, and I'll buy it. I'll fly to wherever and we'll figure it out. I'm so glad we're talking about this. It's just going in with the right mindset that you always do have a buyer. Now, depending on what company you're with, like we're with Keller Williams. Keller Williams has an option called Keller Offers. So you do always have a cash buyer, even if you don't want to use me. Keller Offers will make an offer on any of these properties with basic criteria. Another company that'll do this for you is HomeLight. HomeLight has an instant cash offer program. So these companies are doing this because they want to buy these properties as a discount. They have VC funded money, meaning they have lots of cash to be able to use. They go in and they have a process where you take pictures and do all of this. You can bypass me altogether and just use a big company. They still pay you full commission. It's a win-win.